We went around the houses a little bit there, but we got there in the end. Yeah,
No, I get you.
Two old veterans coming back
TNC's
and playing for big money in a major international tournament and playing in front of each other, against each other, albeit in very different circumstances and positions than they were 5 years ago.
Very, very different.
Yeah,
very different.
I think,
but they've matured in very much the same way. Both of them used to be very hot-headed people, and now much calmer captains of their team. Very impressive. I'm very proud of these guys.
I mean, Charlie knows this better than probably most others about the growth of a player, because he obviously witnessed it firsthand. But I think in some way we all get to see it as we continually watch the international and watch this competitive stage. People, because Dota is such a teamwork focused game, and because it's not just about individual performers, and that's really what makes a lot of Dota so beautiful, is that you have to work together with others. You actually do need to be able to resolve some of those personal problems that you have that makes you, for lack of no other word, than toxic to others.
Yeah, the team's employing people to help them with that as well now.
I mean, we've talked a lot about Misery and Demon and the cores. I do want to highlight Saxa a lot. His support play has actually been phenomenal throughout this tournament. When he first came into the scene, relatively unknown, but I hate giving credit to Bulba all the time and like his inventions, but it was actually Bulba and AUI that really picked that guy out.
Yeah, he's been great, and I know he's been great because my fantasy points have been fantastic whenever I picked him. Every single time he's fought me good fantasy. I've got a gold Saxon. I'm loving the fact he plays the Wyvern. We've got about 30 seconds, so we'll go down the road for full predictions. Charlie?
DC 2-1.
Okay.
I think that this will go heavily one way or the other. It's just really hard to tell which one. So I think it's going to be 2-0, and I'm going to say DC.
Okay, 2 for DC.
10 seconds remaining.
TNC 2-1.
Okay. Very, very difficult predictions here on the panel as we head back down to our Coddle gang for draft number 1.
Reserve time.
Versus Digital Chaos.
Welcome back inside Key Arena here in beautiful Seattle. We have a battle of the underdogs, or can we even call them underdogs anymore? It's DC versus TNC. I'm back at our drafting panel, and we got Winter, Black, and Draskell by my side. Gentlemen, this is going to be a hell of a show. Winter, I'll start with you. DC versus TNC. As many have said, any of these teams can beat any other team, but maybe with these two teams, does one hold like a drafting advantage or strategic advantage that maybe you can give leverage to one or the other?
I think it's 50-50. DC has been really, really good at their drafts so far, from the group stage to the main event, and TNC, they play a lot of different heroes. They have a variety of like push strats, split push, good laning phase. So I think it's 50-50 between the two teams.
We'll take a look at the draft right now as we're already well underway. Digital Chaos open up with the greatest hero in the game, Keeper of Life, follow with the Naga. TNC get the Vengeful Spirit, and then quickly snag up the Drow Ranger Black.
Yeah, I mean, we can see the directions both teams want to go right off the bat. They actually stole the Naga Siren from TNC, so they can't pick the Naga Siren, and now DC's aim is keep him out, make sure we go late game, and TNC counters that by going like a draw push lineup.
Do you think they steal it on purpose? Like, I mean, do you think TNC wants to grab that hero in the first place?
I mean, they did run it in the past very successfully.
They have in the group stage, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, their strongest strat is probably the draw lineups that they build around their team, the bench draw, the aura type of lineups. And if you pick Kotal against Kotal plus Naga Siren, you're gonna play a slow game. So that puts your team at a very vulnerable state if you lose the early game too much.
It's showing a lot of your hand too, right? Like when you have the Naga Siren out already, it's like you're giving TNC the opening to say, okay, we can push you in if we choose to. So now it's up to DC if they can kind of stop that.
Do you think it might be a trick up their sleeves that they might do Naga support from this team? I've not seen it.
Very possible.
I've not seen it from them though.
I think from the group stage, it was mentioned that DC are one of the teams who picked like the most heroes and had like one of the more versatile playstyles. So I wouldn't put it past them to maybe go back for that, and it would make a lot of sense given the situation.
But for what we have seen from them, they always run it on resolution as carry, and then they pick more like a Usually they run like 2 very greedy heroes on Weeha and Resolution, and then Mu and the 2 supports are there to make like a lot of space for the
10
team.
seconds remaining.
Well, I think Resolution, even though he takes a lot of farm, but I want to give him credit that he's the type of carry that always shows up for the team. He's not just farming, he's always helping, fighting with the team. And I would say Weeha probably is the person that takes the most of the farm on the team.
Yeah, I would agree, and Naga Siren Toddle is definitely like capable of doing that. You can get like a good 3-4 man song off, and then like a big Illuminate on top of that. It's like a huge amount of burst damage.
Lots of potential for setup during our second wave of bans. DC had got rid of that Huskar, which TNC pulled out to eliminate OG, and they also get rid of that Storm Spirit. TNC say X-Nay to the Weeha Invoker, and then quickly rid of the Axe.
I wonder if DC are going to go the path of the Sand King. We've been seeing a lot of off-lane Sand Kings, and they've had a tremendous amount of success. And if it's not Sand King, it's usually Axe, and obviously you mentioned as well.
I mean, even TNC could go that. If they are anticipating a Naga core, you can pick Sand King to deal with the illusions. You get the Aghanim's, or even go to his lane. Like you're gonna be able to put so much pressure on the Naga's lane, which is most likely gonna be the mid lane for DC if they're gonna send him towards the mid lane to make sure he gets runes.
We haven't not seen this guy in quite a while. We brought him up briefly yesterday, but we kind of just quickly casted him aside. But here, DC find him valuable.
I think they pick it in anticipation of TNC actually picking one of those initiators, like Sand King or Faces Void, so they have a save for like the team, because they want to get into the backline to make sure the Coddle can like keep pestering them. So if they actually pick the Void or the Sand King, you can actually really easily save them after you get like a Black Dagger.
I actually think the reason of this pick is because it's sort of like a replacement to Elder Titan. And you want a hero that can provide good laning phase, and you have deep push. When you have Naga core, you want a lot of deep push on your team. So you move the enemy team around, and you force them to react to your heroes being pushing all the lanes all the time. So Tusk provides them for the team, and you have Roshan control with the Sigil.
Do you think there might be anything else to it? Because I can't help but feel like Elder Titan could have just been a better... Oh no, he was banned out. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, he's always banned.
Maybe there's something they could pair with it within their lineup to make it that much better, because I don't know, like I feel like there could have been better options if you just needed the save.
Techies. I think it's more too about like being able to gap close. Like, that's another thing that you really want to get to Joe Ranger, being able to get in and break the ultimate as well.
Yeah, you always just want to be like in 400 AoE. Just make sure she doesn't deal damage. Her team doesn't deal damage.
I mean, with TNC picking up Dazzle here, I still feel like, you know, you talked about a partner hero for the Tusk. The Darkseer is still in the pool. It's a natural mech carrier as well, and you would just have the most ridiculous amount of wave clear with DC's team. I think TNC would have a very hard time like dealing with that.
Yeah, Darkseer plus Naga Siren is very good together. Not because they have any good combos in team fight, but it's because of how you're gonna execute the two heroes. You're gonna be pushing the lanes with Iron Shell, so it makes it very annoying for the enemy team.
Yeah, and they already committed for a Dazzler, so you don't have to worry about an Oracle or anything like that. So that could be a shoe-in for DC if they do consider it for Mu.
Yeah, like the lane could also be really good if you get a good opening with the Tusk. So like Andy said, a lot of pressure on the Drow's lane. If you can kill the Drow at least one time in the lane, it's gonna cripple the team a lot.
And even if you have problems later on with the Darkseer, you can just high ground turtle so easily with a Coddle Darkseer. It's so difficult to push into that, while the Naga Siren will just farm away in other lanes and split push.
Yep, it seems like DC are gonna try to play the split push game this time. They have a very good setup with the first 3 picks and looking good for them. TNC on the other hand with the Drow lineup, they're gonna look to force the issue here.
Or they were inspired by Wings and they're gonna put techies with Tusk.
I would love it. Like we have seen a combo win TI5. Like that combo made like EG so strong at TI5.
I mean, if you think about it, a techies type of game would definitely suit a Naga Siren, right? You want to play late game, but
boring.
The boring master.
Yeah, boring for you, but these guys are trying to win.
They have to win. They're not
like you. You're just trying to be on the panel.
Legitimately though, of course, we know the utility that Beastmaster brings to the game.
Yeah, the Sigil plus the Hawk, so a lot of vision. Against Drow Ranger lineup, you want to be able to scout the Roshan. That's very important.
5 seconds remaining.
But even if you scout it, it's going to be very hard to contest with the lineup, I feel. Like they do one mistake and TNC would just be able to snag it like right away.
But what do you think, Andy? Do you think the Tusk and Beastmaster can pressure the Drow lane this time with the Dazzle on the bench?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I don't think, like, if the Dazzle on the bench both have to stay down there, I'd still say that's a win for DC. And worst case scenario, the Beastmaster can still jungle extremely fast if he ever gets forced out of lane.
Yeah, but would you have any kill potential? Maybe say level 3, if you try to run him on them with the snowball and the ball.
If it's 3 heroes, probably not, but maybe if you get a rune or something, because I think between those 2 heroes, they should probably be able to get bottom rune fairly reliably. Like, I don't think the solo support can contest it at all.
It's difficult for the supports to contest, and TNC goes for their initiator, you need to be able to catch Kotal. Like if you're gonna push, you need a hero that can go behind enemy lines, grab the Kotal, kill him, and then push the tower.
Yeah, that's also why we see the Storm Band out. It's like the premier hero to catch that Kotal in the back and just kill him off in like a second. But we don't know yet whether he's middle or off them. We have TNC. Like we've seen him run on both positions. But it's probably going to be off lane. And they want to have like another hero that can hit hard in the mid lane.
Like something like a Mirana would be nice, but it's banned. Like you get the idea. It's along those lines. You want to be able to siege towers, pressure, you have wave clear.
Do you almost think they want more catch than they already have because of that? Because I feel like with Beastmaster, Hawk Vision, and just the heroes that they have, it's going to be extremely difficult to find picks.
Yeah, it won't be easy for them. It's going to be all on the laning phase, how much they get done, how fast the Batrider gets his blink. That is very crucial for TNC.
But TNC needs to commit now. Like they definitely need to pick a hero that can really push or kill the illusions really like reliably.
Yeah,
like, they could go late game as well, but they need like to commit in either direction now.
So they are going for much more a safety pick. You have decent early game and you have a good late game.
Wait, so it's a draw mid and morph safe lane then, right? Because like morph mid is like really like vulnerable against most mid heroes.
But you have the waveform to get away if the Tusk ganks you though, don't you think that's better?
And you have to draw aura, like actually morphing deals like a lot of damage mid lane.
Yeah.
When you morph down to agility.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea for the morph to be in mid. It's going to discourage the Tusk rotations, he's going to get a lot of farm with the draw aura, so pretty good idea.
Final pick for DC is going to be what looks like the Weeha Dragon Knight, gentlemen. Now with the draft before us here.
Man, it seems like DC can push as well with the Beastmaster plus the DK. So it's going to be really interesting here. I'm going to favor the DC's lineup here right now.
Yeah, I'm a bit torn between the two. I actually think they both are really good lineups. Like they both can farm, save, and push. So I don't know. I will just go for TNC because I like Demon.
I'm actually going to side with Black. I think the Morphling last pick is a much better game plan for them, just being able to take it a little bit later.
Sounds good, guys. Let's go ahead and send it over for our first game of the day. We have Toby Wan and Merlini bringing you DC versus TNC.
It's almost going to be a sad sight when one of these teams has to leave the stage. There's so much history with these guys, especially the captains. Misery up against Demon. They were former players back in the old baby days of Dota, and now they're fighting up against each other to eliminate them from TI6.
One of them must leave this tournament, and is it going to be Demon or Misery? The old support players turned captain.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone can really answer that question. No one who actually tries to answer those type of questions here at TI6 ever gets it right, because we always have the opposite answer. It's just the easy battles. TNC, DC, you never know who's going to win in this kind of matchup.
Man, I'm so glad I get to cast Jimmy. I ran into him in the hotel last night, and I had the pleasure of speaking to him. You know, we talked about the normal stuff. Good luck, you know, good congratulations on winning, and then eventually, it always gets back to Demon's individual play, and he's like, oh, did you see what I did over there? He's like trying to act all abashed, he's trying to bat his eyelashes, I don't really know what I was doing. And then I was like, what are you talking about? You ran around the T1 tower with a haste rune, you made them waste 2 sentry wards, and then his veneer of like shyness and abashedness wears off. He's like, actually, it was 3. And then I have another story about Jimmy too, which I'll go in later. What's going on in the early game?
You can save it, man. We've got some time. We've got a full best of 3 to get through, and that's where I'm hoping we actually go with this series. All 3 games would be the dream for all spectators here.
Yeah, Jimmy's unofficial name. His official name is Demon, as you can see, but his unofficial name is TNC.5K. Normally you ask a player, oh, what rating are you? Oh, I'm almost 5K. You're like, oh, so how close are you? They're like, oh, 4.3. It rounds up to 4.5, which rounds up to 5. But Jimmy's the other way around. He's TNC.5K. He's 59.88. So when he loses the game and you go and loses it, oh, so Jimmy, what happened to you this game? He's like, oh, don't blame me. I'm only 5K. Whereas if he wins, he's like, oh, wow, Jimmy, you played amazingly well. What carried you to this victory? He'd be like, MMR don't mean shit.
Man, he knows
He's that guy.
He knows it all translates like that. In Southeast Asia, that's actually 8K.
Oh, Jimmy.
Into our lanes we go. So the funness in the players, even in the drafting phase before we actually in the lobby before we started, there was a nice little bit of banter going back and forth with even just around the first pick as well as dire side selection. And we have our lanes going off. So Move, he'll be trying to run this safe lane up against the Batrider with the mid dual lane. It's going to be Zaksa. He is rotating over to help out Weeha and keep Cuckoo off the lane. While down on bottom, it is the dual Coddle plus Naga Siren off lane against Demon and Raven, the Drow as well as the Dazzle. At least they've got the range to deal with this dual offlane this time for TNC.
Yeah, TNC might be able to push early. It's with the Naga first pick, you expect it to be played by resolution, which generally means longer games. We saw it in the newbie series yesterday versus Liquid. You can lose really hard being down 15, 20 kills in the early game, but you do always have that Naga backup. But with sustain from Keeper, even like reset from the Naga Siren and the push potential from Dragon Knight and Beastmaster, they can actually perhaps punish the slow Morphling on the side of TNC.
We are keeping Morphling down very low, but Morphling's perfectly alright with this. He knows he'll be safe. Got Waveform away, the Breeze Fire still only level 1 for the Dragon Knight, so it's not that much of a perilous burst damage for him. It's this top lane we're keeping a secondary eye on because Beastmaster, he keeps getting heavily napalmed up. So 6 stacks, now he's up to 9 stick charges. So Moose feeling comfortable here, but once he gets 6 sticky napalms, you have to back up. But he's kept the creep wave near enough to his own tower until now. But just safety first.
Wonder where the first rotation is going to come from. We didn't talk too much about the aggro try from DC, Keeper Light. Pretty good positioning on the...
Moo's down a long way. This is what I was talking about. When Moo gets too far away from his tower, Sam can just capitalize on it, and the Batrider will take the first blood on the top lane against the Beastmaster.
Gotta watch those stacks.
That you do.
I actually remember casting with you earlier. You're like, oh, you need to back off at 6 stacks.
Yeah, you do.
It's like Toby. You gotta back up at like 3.
Well, Moo likes to live life on the edge. Raven got initiated on by the Tusker. And he'll be forced all the way back to base because of this. He can still leave Demon in the lane. He doesn't really have many levels, however. He went the Poison Touch level 1. At least he can soak up some experience at the moment, and he purposely kept himself away from the lane. You need to have throw range with up at level 6, gives everyone advantage, because TNC are running a 5 range lineup with that throw ranger, so everyone gets the boost.
The biggest problem is they can't pull. They have 2 sentry wards trying to deward their small camp, but it missed, and they have Keeper Light too. Keeper Light is one of the best.
They're going again on top lane with that stun and 4 sticky napalm charges. AU's trying to get the body blocked off. They won't even need it. Move under the cover of the Firefly. It just burns. And this DC safe lane not working, and they're forced to bring in the Tusker to the top.
And with the sentry wards expiring soon on the side of DC, TNC have finally regained control of their safe lane, pick up some levels on Demon and Raven. More importantly, Raven, he's only level 2.5 at the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, that's because of the long walk back home, but keeping back forward, he'll get some help. What do you think about this build coming in from the Morphling, bypassing the early bottle and going for the double Wraith Band?
That is a build that I've not seen very often. We haven't seen actually too much Morphling mid recently. Maybe he thinks that his supports are going to go for the rune a little bit more, but Morphling's generally one of the better heroes who sets runes. Anyone with a blink or a pseudo blink.
Tusker, they could turn for this one. AU purposely waiting in the tree line. The 4-minute rune was already taken. It was the Observer Ward that let them play this properly. The shards allowing him to get the vision to snowball up to the Mud Golems. Doesn't get all the way, and Sam sticks with him with that Firefly. This is now the 3rd kill for the Batrider. He's the highest on the CS. And he's the highest on the net worth by almost 1,000 gold 4.5 minutes in.
Man, Sam Ace, we saw him had a little bit of a rough start on this Batrider earlier, but with a good start like this, he's gonna go ham.
That he will. All the items in the world. You get a Drum of Endurance in under 5 minutes on top of the Tranquil Boots you had. Like, we're seeing some of the Batriders have to stay farming a little bit longer because you see these early drum pickups with the Tranquil 5 minute Blink Dagger. Yeah, that's a 5-minute drums. So the Blink Dagger timing is going to be almost on the same timing as if you rushed it.
I think he just solo kill Moo at this point. He's held his skill point at 6, so I'm not sure if he's going to go for last.
Demon, the snowball's coming in. The Illuminate needs to connect. It doesn't. Shallow Grave Demon controlled just enough that he couldn't get his Shallow Grave off in time.
A little bit of a greedy play, holding on to the grave there, but looks like he would have likely died anyways. Actually, he could have TP'd out. They don't have another stun aside from the snowball. You'd have to time it like really well, though.
Or you just get back underneath the tower, let Raven do some damage. And now Raven, this is not the scenario. Like, the Batrider scenario is fantastic for him. The problem you have, okay, is that rotation? No, we house back up the tower. The problem you have is, like, the Drow range now just can't find any farm. Like, Drow is forced into her own jungle this early on.
Yeah, she hasn't died, but she needs a safe place to farm. Morphling, not one of your ideal jungle heroes. So ideally you'd want to like swap him out, especially if it's someone who can
farm
Radiant's
stacks.
bottom tower
Do you actually
is
feel
under
confident enough that you can put the Morphling on the bot lane? Push the Drow to the mid up
Radiant
against the DK?
structures are fortified.
I think it's better to stifle your Morphin there with the Drow Ranger, but it's also really inefficient for him to move all the way bottom. Well, instead they move all to the mid lane. The Morphling replicas back behind the tower. Weeha gonna commit the stuns. They have to realize that is in fact not a real demon. The bottom tower's been taken out by Saskia as well as Resolution, so there's no problem here for DC. They defend their tier 1 tower, takes minimal damage. You do burn your Dragon Form early on, but you still get the desired result whenever you burn the Dragon Form. An early tier 1 tower
Radiant's
drop.
bottom tower has fallen.
They're still trying to struggle to protect the Drow. I think the best way is actually to pressure the Bat Rider's lane and to make sure that the Beastmaster continuously feeds and is forced to hook up with his team so they can eventually take that T1 and then trade jungles in the meantime. But alternatively, they can sit down on bottom, force the other heroes out of the Drow Ranger's lane. You definitely don't want the Keeper of Light to chain farm this Radiant jungle as well as the Naga Siren, but Resolution's having his way with the full camps.
Tusker chasing up after AU, but he can't get close enough. Cuckoo trying to defend against the end of this Dragon Form of Weeha's. When the Illuna keeps hitting the wave as well as the Morphling. Luckily for him, he had a regeneration room bottled up. An extra support behind in the form of Dazzle and the VS.
Demon's Vista Sentry Ward 2 on the mid lane. He thinks that Misery's going to go for a very different ward, and he does, but not quite as different as the Vengeful expects.
It's been a fairly common ward from DC too, exactly where he put that sentry. Just a little bit further south. But for now, 3-1 Resolution up a very long way on the bot, but he's also got Song of the Siren, so there's not a lot TNC could really do about him. Not unless they get that Blink Dagger up and running.
Yeah, that's very problematic. He's going for Iron Talon. That's the recipe in his inventory, and he's going to farm out that Radiant jungle. Naga is going to have a lot of places to farm. Haste Rune on top, this could be a kill rune for them.
Yeah, they're actually saving it for Cuckoo. He replicated down to the bottom room so he can grab the bounty and get his bottle charges. And now he can help to the top lane where AU is still sitting around the Haste Rune.
He might be just looking for a gank on Beastmaster if he shows up. But they already have a reserve ward prepped in case that Rider is going to move there.
Maybe he's thinking about going on Weeha.
Oh, they use Scout on top. They definitely want to go for top.
Well, there's the movement. As you said, they go underneath the Dire Observe ward. The Wave of Terror reveals nothing. As DC has already bailed out.
Probably expecting to have a ward there, but Bat Rider's going to have Blink pretty soon. Just 1,000 more gold.
And then we can start seeing TNC rotate out. Unfortunately for the Bat Rider, where he wants to farm is currently, well, it is being stacked up. Demon waits a very long time to now try and get the big stack. That one little Centaur does get out of the yellow box just in the nick of time, so that's a big stack for the Bat Rider to take. And the Ancients are heavily stacked as well. He's even got a small stack of his own up next to Secret Shop. So Bat Rider should have his Blink Dagger by maybe actually about 10 minutes.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Not bad at all. And then they can give the farm on the top lane to Demon. So you're still finding levels into the TNC supports. They need to find a little bit more though for the Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit spent most of her time just wandering around in between the lanes.
They need to stop the Naga Siren from farming. They have an observer ward. They're watching her farm, but she's just farming up these 3 camps and the lane at the same time, and TNC needs some towers.
Cuckoo. The stuns there from Weeha. Cuckoo, he'll just wait for himself out. He's still got 2 more bottle charges, and the next rune spawns up in 10 seconds. So we can make a play for that one as well.
Radiant's
it looks like DC's trying to do something about that. They're going to contest the runes. Okay, now they leave the top rune alone, and it will be a double damage for him.
Drow Ranger still has yet to get shreds. Bat Rider needs to be the one to create space. He's actually sitting at 2,600 gold. I guess having a little bit of excess gold from that stack, but there's the smoke, there's the blink. Where are they going?
It's got to be bottom lane. Already DC have moved down here. They've got Dragon Form available. They're going to force TNC into an engagement. The treads are only now just being purchased up by the Drow Ranger, so she won't have them for this engagement.
If they don't stop the Naga Siren, they have to last of the Naga Siren, then maybe Dragon Knight can rebut with a quick Dragon Tail.
They have the smoke. So Bat Rider needs to Firefly over the tree line. The closest one is Weeha, and that's a good target for them with 3 heroes behind.
Yeah, Naga's...
There it is. Blink, lasso Lasso, and they bring in more. They actually bring in the whole 5 players of TNC, and Weehan, the tier 2 tower, will drop. Vengeful Spirit doesn't have level 6, so we probably won't be able to catch up to Misery. Even with the movement speed, the Batrider Firefly will wear off. Misery is back up the lane, charging back to his own tier 1.
Radiant's top tower is
Moo
under
looks like he's going to get a free tower on top in the meantime.
Really good space for him as well, building for that early Necro. After what was a bit of a disastrous start, feeding those 2 kills to the Batrider.
Naga Siren getting recalled. They still want her down here. Farm safely.
She's got 1,000 gold to go before she did the relic.
Under attack.
Radiance won't be too far off that. Raven still in the lane. Resolution doesn't have a single point up in Ensnare, so have to rely on Song of the Siren to prepare for the Tuskar control. And with a snowball forward, Drow Ranger thought he could actually get his TP out, but it wasn't possible. Back in the mid lane, Morphling able to catch out the Dragon Knight. Again, they had more help coming in from the Batrider. Even without Lasso, they were able to find the kill on the DK, and now Sam, he goes in deeper, looking for Misery. No Firefly, but the Flame Break pushing Misery back closer, looking to keep the sticky Napalm charges up, and Misery, well, the Flame Break burn has worn off.
And that was perfect. Up with him. Perfect Flame Break coming out from Batrider. Expertly placed. Doesn't even need to use Firefly, let alone Lasso.
If he can just get his mana up a little bit more, he can have his Lasso now. Firefly in, you look for the Song of the Siren, no Song of the Siren, Naga Siren. As Resolution on the run, sticky Napalm, drum charges, get movement speed, there's that Tuskar save, but they can just keep it going. Resolution has 2 stacks on him, the swap back, and Resolution, he's so close to his Relic money, he'll die just short of it, and the Tuskar will go down too. TNC, fantastic rotations. So much of this made possible through this Batrider, involved in all 8 of them. They can go for the Roar, but Cuckoo's still got a replicate. Actually, no mana. Cuckoo's in trouble. He can't get himself out of this one. No, he'll actually find the kill over on Cuckoo. The early Necro book's paying off.
Under attack.
Morphling could have maybe used his replicate to block a little bit. You want to block either the boar so that you can run away, or block the Beastmaster so you're not taking so much right-click damage. He doesn't actually have to on the Beastmaster, so it should have been more difficult for him to chase.
Some small things going the way of DC. Overall, everything's been fairly even. No one's really got a big gold advantage. The experience is going a little bit the way of TNC, but not playing that much.
Yeah, even if Naga gets Radiance, Morphling can easily replicate herself or one of the mirror images and farm up, so not terribly worried about the Naga Radiance. Not a timing that DC can do all too much with, especially without a mech for them. The DK is fairly vulnerable. Naga's not level 11, so they can't really pick fights willy-nilly without Song.
Yeah, and that's why you just go to the split push. Once that Aghanim Scepter's over on Misery, every lane will be a split push lane. TNC are on the hunt. The double damage rune on the top river taken by Cuckoo. Didn't get a glimpse of Weeha. Weeha actually moving to the mid lane with a shove them. Observer Ward right behind that tier 1 tower. They isolate Moon. No Necro Books available. The Morphling waveforms in. So Cuckoo, Edward Shore is last hit. Illuminate will hit from Misery, but it's only a level 2, so minimal damage, easily repaired by a Shadow Wave of Demon. And in fact, the Batrider's already looking for more. Getting Misery back behind his own tier 2, and this is an early Drow range, remember, which means tier 2 towers take a lot of damage. Demon Press another Observer Ward back behind the lines as Sam, a great flame break. Misery's in trouble, the Snowfall will save him, but then they move forward only to the creep waves, not too far away. Blinding Light forcing TNC out, but then the swap, they bring in the Tuskar, no Snowball. The Morphling wave forms into only tier 3 towers now. TNC assaulting Digital Chaos, the flame break, it hits Misery. He's got 3 sticky napalm charges, he's gonna burn under his own tier 4s.
Damn, Sam H following up with his fantastic Void performance today on the Batrider. They thought they could just stall with the Keeper of Light, but Batrider is just constantly on top of them.
They're going in 15 minutes in. The Dragonlance are almost done, but they're not there yet. You've now got TNC just chipping away into tier 3s. DC is respawning, but there's no reason to force the issue any further. You don't want to give DC a chance to get back in this.
DC's really relying on their cooldowns. The Dragon Knight ultimate, they killed him while he had his ultimate up. That's like a minute and a half cooldown afterwards. Beastmaster revolves around 80-90 seconds with Necro 3 and Roar, or Necro rather, and Roar. but they're not really able to constantly fight, and TNC are just looking for fight after fight after fight after DC uses anything of value.
Looks like DC are off on a smoke maneuver. They'll find the bounty in bottom river. They do take it, looking towards Roshan. TNC are not there. And in fact, this is going to, yeah, DC, they're going to give it a crack. They've got Necrofolks, they've got Paws, they've got a lot of survivability. And they'll attempt to bring down Roshan while TNC aren't looking.
Tusk has added value in this scenario with the sigil, certainly helped despite Roshan's recent attacks debuff. They have the board too, so.
Seems like a good time for DC to almost falsify. You've got all your oldies, as you said, and the Radiance just got completed on the Naga Siren, so if TNC do want to try and contest this, they could find themselves in a bit of a pickle.
Well, looks like they're scouting out right now. Morphling made replicate. The Naga Siren illusion is going to head to Roche, but it's going to be far too late.
Yep, it's actually not even going down to Roshan, it's heading to the bottom lane. So the Horde will get killed off by the Radiance burn, but Roshan belongs to Digital Chaos. And they'll put it in the hands of the Dragon Knight.
He's not the best Aegis carrier in terms of him not being able to respawn with Dragon form, but he's still going to be in the front line. He's struggling mightily in terms of CS and levels.
It gives him the confidence to buy the straight Blink Dagger, knowing you don't have to buy back at least.
Yeah, but it also gives TNC a lot more incentive to go for the Naga Siren.
Yeah. Now Sweat Tuskar comes into play. Hasn't really been, like, there's been a couple of saves, but can't get him out of trouble.
He has to be really careful though with the snowballs. He's been really good about it. The one where he tried to skip the neutrals, the one where he like tried to make it look like he was casting on all the TNC heroes, but he actually cast it on the creep, and they all backed away to get some more distance from the snowball. But if he has a bad snowball and they get like hit into a gust, that could just be horrendous fight for DC.
DC 4-man smoke, they head up to the top lane. They don't want to give up this tier 1 tower. And TNC, they're also going to 4-man smoke. They head over, there's a Radiant Observer Ward and a Dire Observer Ward down. But of course, under the cover of smoke, both teams are none the wiser. Firefly up from the Batrider. He's looking for moves. Blink too far up. The stun, once he gets the last suit, but now Song of the Siren. Resolution will hold the fight, so DC can reposition. The Illuminate will not really connect that heavily on the Batrider, and they're going to swap Weehaw back in. There's a lot of sticky napalm touch up. He lets off as much damage as he can before he'll tie. The Aegis Immortal burns. Remember, no Dragon form when he comes back to life again. And Sam keeps going in deeper. The roar out from Moo, but they're so low on life. They have to back up that replicant. It does so much damage. It was burning with the Radiance. The Morphling has gone in deeper. He'll find the Beastmaster while Sam is on the run. The Necro unit trying to find the Batrider. It just wants to hit him once. It can't do it. Cuckoo might be a little bit too deep under the tier 2 tower. But then again, this is a Morphling strength morph up 2400 life. And with the help of the rest of TNC, they take a good fight against DC.
Yeah, I really like how involved Cuckoo has been. He can just do so much damage just with a simple replicate. He doesn't even really need that many items on himself, albeit he is pretty darn farmed. The early earn from the Eventual Spirit so they can deal with the Radiance burn. I see an early cloak on the Dazzle. We've seen a lot of teams forego the Pipe of Insight as trying to push high ground versus heavy magic damage dealers, Mirana, keeping the light, and this game it seems like the Pipe is going to be of utmost importance.
Is this one of these games too where you wonder if the Naga's Radiance works against you with the Replicant? We saw it with the Nyx Assassin back in one of our group stage games.
A little bit.
Should this almost be turned off until you see a Replicant?
Oh, definitely not, because you need to accelerate your own farm, and Morphling's going to get farm regardless. But it would just hurt your farm too much if you
Radiant's middle
split
tower
without the Radiance. So Morphling and Naga kind of even, I suppose. Like, Morphling's lower net worth, but this is where he's weaker in the game. He doesn't have a farm accelerator like Radiance, and he can replicate the Naga Siren, but it's more the Dragon Knight versus the Drow Ranger, and Drow Ranger is far ahead of the Dragon Knight. And we didn't even go for a farming item, he went for a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he went for initiation. See if he can get that catch before the 4 staffs.
Yeah,
pull TNC away to safety.
They don't have a hero that can stick on the Drow. Normally you see like a very strong armlet carrier in front, like Lifestealer is a good example of a hero that's just like, okay, I'm just going to run at the Drow Ranger to disable marksmanship. But right now they don't have a hero that can do that. They can't stick on top of the Drow Ranger, and on top of that she has Yasha and Dragonlance, so she's not going to be at the forefront of the fight.
TNC are grouping up again for the top lane. Their Sentry Ward is, in fact, in range of that Dire Orb. They just don't have vision on the hillside. So DC still know exactly what TNC are up to. And that's why they're bailing out. They're forcing into the tier 2 tower on bot lane. Weeha's already down there. And they just try and push out to mid lane if possible.
TNC are slow as they still take fights despite TNC having the Aegis. They're not really worried, even though Naga had a really early farm. It seems like they were clearly prepared for an early Naga pick from DC, considering how well it worked out for them in the group stage as well as at the main.
Nice rune for Moon to find. He's going to actually have an invis, but fortunately for him, everyone else is just so far away. And they're not finding any kind of opening. But they do put down some aggressive observer wards through the TNC Radiant jungle. DC do want to find an opening. We will have one, maybe a little bit more difficult now to kill off the Morphling as he finishes up a full Lincoln Spear to go along with that Dragon Lance.
I think TNC are going to hit their timing really soon too. They're buying a lot of early game items, way more so than normal. The Urn and the Vlads on the Vengeful Spirit. We see Dazzle with the early hood, as opposed to a Glimmer, which I think is more skirmishy. I think they're just trying to end the game pretty early, maybe get next Roach and try and screw up the cranks on DC. Pin them to their base.
Well, with the Dragon Lances, they can attack in, so hey, why not?
Yeah, double Dragon Lance too.
What's DC gonna do right now? Like, you Song of the Siren, but TNC already proved, like, Song of the Siren, TNC had all the time in the world to prepare for it, and TNC still won the fight against an Aegis lineup.
Yeah, they have great sustain. If you don't kill people after Illuminate, they can easily heal up with the Shadow Wave too, which Demon has maxed out. So you're not really going to be able to slowly chip him down through Radiance Burn and Cut Illuminate, which is what this strategy relies on.
I'm liking this from DC, however. Like, don't commit any heroes, just put 2 boards on the top lane to push into the tier 2 tower and force some kind of reaction from TNC. TNC don't have as easy a lineup to drag everyone in because they don't have the recoil that comes in from the Keeper of the Light. And Misery's gonna have to start using that soon. He's already triggered his Ghost Form and he's halfway through the duration.
Yeah, without Scepter though, not gonna be easy for them. And TNC are lacking a gem at the moment, like to complete a pipe, so they're not like super ready, but ready enough.
It's enough for TNC to take a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower. Get a ward up on that hillside before DC try and fight you. The Beastmaster really needs to have that blink dash before they're ready to go.
Does he want to use Necro 3 for this push though? Like, he has the option of pushing the left side T2 as TNC are going for this push, but if he uses Necro 3 and they push high ground, then you're
out with a free wave. The nice jump, they found Tusker. Sam again finding the picks, the 4-star, helping drag it back out with the extra range from that Ether Lens. Finds the grab, and DC, they're a man down. And with the Observer Wall being planted nicely inside the DC base, TNC have nice high ground vision. So Sam can once again maybe make a play. Misery's a little bit too far out with a blink forward. They just explode him. You get Captive Strike, a little bit of Firefly, and that's all you need to kill off the Keeper of the Light. There's no buyback for Misery.
And again, TNC with a very cleverly placed Observer Wars. Keeper of the Sight thought he had the help of Fog on his side.
But he also had the help of the Hawk, which is now there. Fortification tries to slow things down. Good thing Moo didn't commit those Necro 3s to the push on the top lane, but on bottom, that tier 3 tower is almost caught. They're killing off the Replicant in the tree line, so at least they don't have to deal with the Radiance Naga burning themselves. But that melee is almost down. Shards are flying forward. Keeper the lines back up. Necro books forward. Weeha blinking, actually keeping himself in the back lines. Controls up Demon nicely. There's still a Shallow Grave available. Demon will use it himself as this fight split into multiple parts. Naga now has to buy it back. And Demon, he actually TP's out. Raven with that damage from the Hurricane Pike, almost killing Weeha. And the rest of TNC move down. DC, they're losing way too much here. They need to find an opening with the lasso. They hold resolution. They can't have a dieback here. In fact, Sam down mana leak. 4-star will help actually drain the mana, hitting the Sun, and the Battle Rider locked inside the shards. He will be snowballed down, so DC, it is a costly defense, but they do hold TNC out and maintain the life of their racks.
Hanging on for dear life. Melee racks, half HP. Don't think TNC can go for another push, especially with Roshan respawning so soon. He's actually going to respawn in the next 10 seconds or so, but that's your worst nightmare as a Naga Siren. Going for the base defense, having to help your team out this game when you have heroes that can stall. I think Tusk and Keeper are both pretty darn good at stalling. Even the Beastmaster split pushing out another lane should be enough to dissuade TNC from reaching the high ground. But when your Naga has to get involved, and then she dies, and then she has to buy back, you know you're in a really tough spot.
DC need to slow this game down if possible, but TNC, they look like they want to go faster. A Blink Dagger pickup on the Morphling, leaning more towards the lines of just straight pick off from TNC and go high ground again.
You can't fight into DC's position. You have to break like the keep of the light. You always have to force them to turn around, not cast full duration illuminates, and more importantly, access. They see the back line.
They see AU, Blink, Raw, Raven's gonna be here with a gust, goes onto the Beastmaster. AU low on life, and the Shallow Grave kicks in from Demon in time. Actually, he'll be there for the Vengeful Spirit. Even with a swap, he can't get away, so 2 supports down for TNC. Hard to break the lines now, but Cuckoo in through the rear. Turn around. I'm not certain about this. You're right. Weeha, he'll cut free. Got Culling Blade up his sleeve, so he does get out. But then Raven and Sam looking to focus on him. The ball's keeping him slow. The snowball, he'll close the distance now between DC as well as Sam. He's the big one. It's the Bat Rise. Done so much work already for TNC. Taking a fall. And now it's DC who are on the push. Attacking to the tier 2 tower, and Morphling having no real influence. Even if he is full life behind them.
The beginning of the fight just started off so well for DC. They went on to Vengeful Spirit and stunned the Dazzle at the same time, so they could just nab both supports. Ooh, that was a quick blink out.
This gives DC something to work with, but Cuckoo in through the side, finds the Tusker. Resolution can trigger the Lincoln Sphere thanks to Ensnare. Weeha, then the stun, and Breathe Fire. Keeping Cuckoo low, but the Blink Dagger back off cooldown. He's just so maneuverable with this item. And then Replicant. Where does he want to go? He looks down towards Moo. The Song of the Siren out from Resolution. Where's the support? It is not there. DC just want to get out of here. Straight up TP home to safety. And they know that TNC have to come back. The bottom lane's pushing in too heavily, but it looks like TNC with no Song of the Siren up, they want to go for Roshan.
Wow, normally, like, Song's not that big a deal, but for this, it's huge. There's no way they can defend Roach without it.
Misery's gonna try the Blinding Light. No one gets clipped.
They have the Hawk on the side, but Roshan's too low. They're trying to recall, but Morphling already having the Aegis in the Mortal. I like the timing from TNC. Any small mistake from DC, immediate reaction, and they she's got Roach off of one song.
That they did, TNC. It's the reason why you can say they deserve to be at this point of the lower bracket, to have a top 8 position, fighting for that top 6 if they can win this game.
And they still have that Observer Ward on the right lane too. It's still up for 1 minute. This is a really good time for them to push right now.
Yeah, has to be swapped back out again. The Raw goes on Vengeful Spirit. The double 4-star, getting AU a long way away to safety. They trigger the defensive weave too, so DC can't really pump in a lot of physical damage.
Uh-oh, there are no green diamonds for DC. I don't see any ultimates up for them aside from Dragon Knight. That's not a good sign.
Have to wait. There's 4 seconds until Song of the Siren's up. So they do have that. So Beastmaster Raw, 50 seconds, 70 seconds in his Necro too. But he did at least find that Observer Ward on bottom lane. So that is now gone. And the Necros, they can stand their ground. Actually, there's no creep wave. The mid creep wave is all the way back at the mid river. TNC's waiting for so long for this.
Morphling goes through the
That's deep. He's not going to get out of this one, or is he? They've got the control. He's strength morphing up. The Walrus punch. 1 4-star, but they got another one. Cuckoo, well, they can just stand his ground and fight. He kills the Coddle over the tier 4 towers. Cuckoo, he actually gets away with murder. Outside the base, DC can't stop him.
Yeah, he ran in with a Naga illusion, and they manually then trying to focus it down, and he just comes in. That was so deep.
It's crazy to think he's getting these kills too. Like, it shows you how weak the Coddle is. When you don't have an E-Blade, you have a Lincoln Sphere Hurricane Pike Morphling.
The Dragon Lance is extremely useful for the strategy that they're going for. Normally, Morphling you don't see get involved until 20-25 minutes, but he's been involved all game.
Seems to be great ways to kite too. Like, it's the perfect combination with these, like, Core Staff and Dragon Lance into the Hurricane.
Mm-hmm. And they're showing up for late game. They have the Morphling already. They have the Maelstrom on Drow Ranger. I really just like the Axe first before the Maelstrom. I think the way better progression is Maelstrom first into an Axe.
We've seen this multiple times throughout even just the playoffs. But this seems to be the build they lean towards.
Do have a replicate of the Bat Rider, so maybe Cuckoo trying to look for a pick off with that, especially if Tusk or someone else wants to go on that. DC, they still need more time. I think one of the more important items for them is to keep the light Ags. so they can actually win a team fight off the heel and split push additional lanes with a permanent recall.
You'll need time to farm that up, and where's he going to get it? Like inside of his own jungle? You want to stack and farm there when TNC are moving as heavily as they are? Just like now, they smoke maneuver down the mid. That's what the replicate is there for. It allows Morphling to stay with him. Resolution so close. They scan inside the base. They don't realize that Resolution is there. No one took the Radiance burn.
Radiance bottom.
And now, the Observer Watch. They'll find it. Song of the Siren attempted by Resolution. This is a gem of DC. Also lost.
Wow, that timing of the smoke could not have been better. However, DC,
their bottom lane, they're attacking the tier 3 towers. Sam's going to come in, a very quick blink from Weeha. Just to fly it. The flame break was in the air. Vengeful Spirit out of mana, and Weeha will get recalled. No damage from TNC to cancel that. So Misery pulling back Weeha, doing a good job. That bottom tower now down to 390.
very timely coordination from DC to stun out on the BS, drain her mana so she can't stop you. However, they're marching down mid. Still a healthy minute left on the Aegis of the Immortal.
That Song of the Siren is off cooldown, and if DC can keep them out for another 23 seconds.
Uh-oh, Morphling has the Mjolnir buff on him.
Whoa, okay. I thought you were going to wait a little bit longer on that one, Resolution. There's no fortification, but they don't want to take any chances. The bottom lane's just been pushed in the middle. Replicate the Drone Ranger. And that has done almost half damage to the range racks. And even managed to pick off the Sigil. Someone, okay, finally they get rid of it.
But you know they were scared. They're like, oh, is he gonna replicate on us?
Yeah, they need a scythe or something. This would have been a beautiful game to have something like a lion to get rid of that damn thing.
Ideally, but yeah, they were not prepared for this. And their supports are really struggling to get items. Soxa and Misery both sitting at the bottom of the network chart at the moment. So another buyback expended for old Naga Siren. She's still like decently farmed #1 on net worth, but that's so much gold lost for DC when all their eggs are in the Naga basket.
TNC, 5-man again, straight down the mid. They have one creep alive that can turn off the back door.
So I don't really know who they jump at the moment. If they jump the morph, they'll throw the Mjolnir buff on him and he'll just strength morph. And then they'll waste like half their spells like DK ult, BMO with Necro.
But can you jump on the Drow Ranger? At least she doesn't have magic immunity.
They'll swap the Drow Ranger out if they go on Drow. So I think it has to be like a simultaneous engagement. Tusk on one, and then they have 3 different like stuns and range stuns at that. Oh, I guess Snowball's not really range, but close enough.
This could be a better way for DC to do it. Until before TNC are properly grouped up as 5. They're fairly close together. The most obvious one is Raven currently on the top lane. He's just farming up one of the illusions. Actually, Hurricane Pike to farm that illusion up, and they jump perfectly. Raven will drop. Now they move down towards Demon. One to the next. DC, they've just caught themselves to break the TP out. Resolution has the instead to cancel it. So Demon will die on the stairs. And that is some much needed room to breathe for Digital Chaos.
Careless maneuvers by the Drow Ranger and nice smoke from DC. However, not at the best time for them. Roshan in that respawning phase. Ideally, you want to do it before Rosh, but it's often just way too obvious if you smoke around that time. Well, still, I think they like continuous damage of the team fights. Dragon Knight's really struggling for items.
Once it's got the BKB, life might get a lot easier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm wondering how long until the Morphling finishes up his next. Is the E-Blade now completed on Cuckoo? So blink into shotgun. DC almost have to understand they don't have supports in these fights. Like, they just won't survive. Unless Misery sits all the way back. At least he's now like 600 gold away from having the Aghanim Scepter. So that's a nice thing for him. I'm looking at Resolution picking up that ultimate orb.
Yeah, you're really just mostly worried about the Keeper of the Light dying, because he doesn't have Blink Dagger, he doesn't have that much HP, and he's the one that probably does the most damage in the fights. Without really doing that much, all he has to do is just press Illuminate and walk away, and he can do upwards of 2,000 damage in the fight.
Move. Cuckoo wanted to go on him. He jumped to the replicate. Now waveforms forward. E-Blade half the damage. It's not enough to kill off Move. And Cuckoo might be in a little bit too deep here. The Necro units are there burning off all the mana. So there's going to be no more strength form available for him. Move lends the roar from the tree lines. And Cuckoo pays the price. Who is Drow on the top lane. being picked off by a good DC smoke, and now it was the over-aggressiveness of Cuckoo that will pay the price and give DC yet another advantage.
Soxa has to be happy about that one. It's a lot of gold going for him and gets a monster streak kill and above 1,000 gold for that. So now they can get like maybe a Glimmer Cape to deal with the EB.
So DC starting to get items up on this floor, starting to get that farm we're looking for. The rest of TNC, they're still on the run here. And Wild Blink, Lasso, Tusker, well, he just got 1,000 gold. He's going to give about almost 350 over to the Drow Ranger. They're not done yet. Demon's still in the neighborhood. Resolution does have Song of the Siren if they want to try and catch up to the rest of TNC after Demon does drop.
I bet he's wondering, how did they see me right there? They have a reserve reward right to the left. Not a very common one, especially this late into the game. But it's also what they use to deal with the Drow Ranger, making sure the whole entire team wasn't behind.
Really smart play coming out from DC, exposing the weaknesses of TNC.
They need another gem though on the Naga Siren. They lost it a long time ago. She's had to buy back twice. Everyone's trying to get their items. Keeper's really close to the edge, just 40 gold away. And Dragonite definitely needs items, so I guess maybe a Beastmaster, but 5,000 gold to help his team out. He could buy a Refresher at this point, the most common build after the Necro 3. Probably even better than the gem at this point.
The choices there. Aghanims took 36 minutes for Misery to get it. But now it's arrived, so look at the flying vision, and yep, there she is. The Refresher Orb is up for move. So double Roars, double Necros. A lot more sustain arriving because of this.
Yeah, they need double BKBs up on TNC. It's gotten to that point where ideally you want to break their base without the BKBs, but now they're too farmed to snowball off your early game advantage, and now they have to play it much safer. Careful not to throw away their lead. Roshan number 3 is up. She's at the ready.
How does the clock actually look for TNC? Like, is it Roshan to Aegis and then you have to go high ground? Like, do they have to bring down a Rax? Or is there still some good late game potential?
There's still good late game potential. Because I don't think TC have a good way, DC have a good way to deal with the split push when they're more playing. They can use Manta eventually, maybe in one lane, replicate in one lane, Drow in one lane, more playing, reinforcing more in the other lanes. And it's really only Naga Siren who's strong enough to deal with the way. You can stall with a Keeper Blinding Light, but that's only going to do so much. And Roshan going to be scouted out with a Hawk, but both of them died to the Mjolnir proc, and they will not have vision inside the pit. There's no way you can do it without vision here.
They were too far away anyway. There's no way they could stop TNC. They'd have to already be there with Naga Siren.
And she has bought out. So she now has a gem, Diffusal Blade, but not enough money for buyback. One of the TNC's players would probably call out that, okay, she recently got Diffusal Blade, she bought back twice. There's no way that she can have enough gold. You're not like completely sure, but they've been 5-manning a decent amount. You might be able to expect that from TNC. So Naga and Keeper, highest priority target for TNC.
We'll see if they can get the jump. Again, we look towards Sam, more than likely that Batrider. Did it for TNC in the past, had a fantastic start.
Yeah, and now they know that move has Refresher.
Smoke up from DC, just on the back line, actually allows Move to slip down through the top lane. He wants to jump in through the rear, now blink BKB, up from Weeha. Who's your target? He goes all the way back with the Vengeful Spirit. No swap out, but they Song of the Siren. It isolates the BKB target's Resolution's going down too fast. It's the BKB from Batrider, the last to keep chasing him with the adaptive strike. It's 2 heroes down, make it 3. Weeha down to his own racks. Moo has to just run away on no life, and they call it. GG. TNC take game number 1 against Digital Chaos.
Wow, that sleep at the end, it was BKB wars, but TNC is not strong enough. You can't fight that right there. That was crazy. I really like how they dealt with the Naga Siren though. They expected it coming from DC, and then they prepared for it with their Drow Ranger, and then they had like the most fantastic early game for Batrider. You gotta be proud of these guys. They look happy.
That was a dream for Sam at 10-15.